I'm the kind of person, I'm the kind of believer, I'm the kind of person. I'm not defined by it, but I find value in much of what I read about Christianity, much of what I read about Buddhism. I have delved into Islam, but there's a lot of beautiful poetic verses, but some of them it's kind of like the Old Testament for me. But I've recently been listening to more Hebrew, Jewish teachers, if you will. And anyway, such as to say that I appreciate and value lots of aspects from different belief systems. I also find value in astrology. I have since I was a really little girl, really little, like 5-6 years old. I've been into astrology and I've taken it seriously. And I know a lot of people don't like to talk about it. A lot of other people think it's fake, but I don't. And so I find value in that. As much as I find value in like the Myers-Briggs personality test. And then recently I've come into contact and understanding with what the Enneagram is and what it represents and how you discern and how you actually use the Enneagram to kind of distinguish what your demons are, so you can just more or less work on some of the things that might cause you to suffer more than you need to. What I don't like to do is I don't like to talk about how one system or one ideology or what have you is better than the other. And in our aims, I've noticed, so within my relative circle of influence and interaction, when one person is discovering something new, the automatic response to that always seems to be to like badmouth what they once knew or what they've grown from. And we have to continue separating things. Like, I was a fundamental Christian. I was of the evangelical and I've deconstructed now, or whatever it is. And when that happens, and a lot of times when people are going through that process of transforming or changing or even just taking a new path, it's ridicule and contempt and condescension and criticism and condemnation of what they once believed. And then we do that with people too. And so what we do is, I told you I value astrology. I don't study it. I listen to other people who study it and get tips. I've had tarot readings done. I practiced Wicca for 3 years, 2-3 years. So I have had a lot of influence of different, I would just say, like to call them thinking processes, but belief systems. And what we can do is we can hold all of them in tension with one another and not badmouth one or the other. We don't have to get caught up in this cycle of talking about how this is bad or that denomination is bad or that belief system is bad. If there's portions of it that you just don't agree with, then don't agree with them. You don't even need to create a big, long, huge argument of why you disagree with them and why everyone else should hear why you should disagree with them based on all of these points and then agree with you. Because then we get caught up in just making sure that everybody believes what we believe, and I don't really care if you believe what I believe. I really don't. I don't always think that just because you hold a particular eschatology or end of times view, or just because you don't, interpret the Gospels in the same way that I do, that means that you're a worse person than I am, or that I'm a worse person than you are, or that both of us, while we still read the Bible, are at a difference with one another, but we're still better than all those other folks back there who don't read the Bible at all. And that's like using and theming and othering, and I want to keep all of my beliefs to myself sometimes, and a lot of them I do, and I want to have my own thoughts. I want to know that my view is my view. It's not anybody else's view, it's my view. And the beauty of life and in learning how to really tolerate, accept, and include everyone rests upon the idea that means we have to include everything that everybody else views as their own, and we don't have to condemn them for it. And I know a lot of people will give a lot of justifications and excuses why they can do this, but it doesn't do any good. It doesn't provide any healing. And it just gets into this penis waving match. And so what I would just recommend, look, we're all processing life. We're all existing in this experience that we have never existed in before. We have no blueprints, no manuals. We have no idea how to operate this vehicle that we're driving. And so while we're doing that, let's extend each other some grace and understanding to know that just because one person views astrology as valuable and sometimes factual, that doesn't make them weird. It doesn't mean that something's wrong with them. If people want to worship the Asgardian god, if people want to talk about believing that Jesus is literally going to walk across this planet again in the same form and image that he was described as in the Bible, fine. None of that matters. It's like this whole theology thing. It really doesn't matter at the end of the day. And when you get to the point of embracing a universalistic ideal that all will be saved, no matter what, no matter if they get down and say a sinner's prayer, no matter what they've done, Hitler will be saved. The devil, for whatever we believe the devil to be, if you believe the devil to be an entity, I'm at the point where we're all going to be with God. Whatever that looks like doesn't matter, because I'm right here, right now. And so ultimately, if you have gotten to that point, I have to ask, does it matter? Does anything really matter if we're all going to be saved? Does it matter who knows what if we're all going to be saved? No, because we're all going to be saved. Does it matter what eschatology you have? No, because we're all going to be saved. Does it matter if that person was labeled as a heretic or not? No, because we're all going to be saved. The only thing we've been asked to do is love and forgive. Love and forgive. Love and forgive includes accepting, including, unifying, connecting. Let's focus on that. Let's not focus so much on shaming people for having the wrong belief system, because we all could have the wrong belief system, or we could all have the right belief system. And everything that we believe might just come true. Don't know, because none of us have died and then come back to talk about it and had any kind of evidence or anything to prove what we've said is true. And so if you want to rest upon logic, then go back to the black and white binary judgment of deciding that one persuasion, one system, one belief is better than the other. But if you hold to a universalist mentality, who cares? All will be saved. And if that means I value astrology and I'm going to call you out on your Scorpio-ness, who cares? All will be saved. So just include everybody and embrace everything and consider everything. And who cares? Who cares about the arithmetic behind it? Let's all just get to the point where we can be so accepting of the craziest things that people believe in, so long as they're not harming people, because obviously, guys, common sense, I mean, call people out, expose evil, march evil down the streets and expose it for what it is, but let people be. Let people be, let people believe, let people think. That way, we can get down to the real stuff and we can talk about sex.